Yeah, welcome to the Pi Show, where problem, idea, and enterprise are explored, and where we explore the art of innovation, faith, and purpose-driven entrepreneurship. I'm your host, Oba, and in this show, powered by the DRN School of Entrepreneurship, London, in partnership with the Fellowship of God's Ambassador London, where we engage visionary leaders, creators, and change makers who are shaping the future through enterprise and impact and excellence. Each episode, we unpack inspiring stories, strategic insight, and spiritual wisdom that help you move from problem to idea and from idea to enterprise. We want you to stay tuned because your journey to purpose and prosperity begins right here on the Pi Show. Today, we have a very important guest from Ghana and Dr. Vida. She's going to introduce herself very soon. So I want every one of you to get, for those of you in London, I know the weather is becoming a bit cold, so get your cup of tea or get your cup of coffee, or you can simply, for those of you in Ghana, I believe it's almost the same time with Ghana and London at this point in time. And then those of you in Nigeria who can see and people from Indonesia, I'll tell you the truth, God is going to be using today's edition to truly transform lives of people across the globe. I want to thank you, Dr. Vida, for making yourself available to be part of this program. So can we go straight to our discussion today? And Dr. Vida, my sister, friend, and can you introduce yourself to the world?
All right. Thank you so much, Reverend Boniface, for bringing me to this platform to be able to put myself out there for the world to know what I am doing or we are doing in Ghana. It is a privilege. So thank you so much. Um, Vida, as already you said, is a Ghanaian lady, and being a professional development practitioner. And hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, doctor. You can go on. We can hear you clearly.
All right, all right. Yes, so being a professional development practitioner, a teacher, and an entrepreneur. To crown it all, a gender advocate. I cannot do anything without my gender lens. Um, I have been in this development work for the past 80 years. If I want to trace from my generation, it may even be more than that. But
Okay.
officially, I started at the age of, let's say, maybe 25 years. I had already started officially doing what I'm doing today. And
Okay.
by the grace of God, together with other partners, we are making a greater impact in Ghana.
Okay.
And yeah, yes. So all this journey started, as I said earlier on. If I want to trace it, it's from my generation. Growing up, I used to be very close to my parents, and they were the people that like to bring people together in the community to be able to have their own projects that will build the community. Every time I could see them looking for gaps and to be able to help the community to fill those gaps. So I was
Okay.
actually learning that from them, but I didn't know that one day I'll become one.
That is how it works.
Yes, so I was always having the zeal to equally do whatever they were doing. But fortunately and unfortunately, I find myself being a teacher in the classroom, which was not bad because I knew God was taking me round, round, round to prepare me for his assignment. And so, being a teacher for some time, I was able to gather a lot of experience with regards to how to deal with people. And so, as life go on, things continue to change on my part because people from somewhere saw that I could do more than just being in the classroom. And
Okay.
so one time, my community opinion leaders invited me to come and take up a leadership position. In Ghana, we call it assemblywoman. I know the other part of the world, they call them council members. Yeah,
Okay.
so see myself relating with everybody in the community as a community leader actually positioned me at a point that I could have influence. So growing up and seeing my mother organizing women together to take up certain responsibilities, my father mobilizing men to do that, then I said, wow. So it means that I cannot do anything without bringing everybody on board.
Together.
So women were put at a place where they could perform. Men are put at a place where they could perform, as well as the youth. So by the end of the day, everybody was involved. So from there, I realized that you cannot develop your community when you don't identify the community structures. You don't look at people who benefit from what you are doing and make sure that they are fully involved into whatever that you are doing. Decisions are taken by them. You are only to facilitate the process. Because from my experience, anything that you do on your own with the mindset that this is what the people need, by the time you are done, they will never appreciate it. And that will not be
No,
sustainable.
yeah, that is true. Yeah.
So bringing everybody on board, you guide them to take their own decisions, you facilitate the process for them to be able to build themselves. As a result of that, it builds their confidence level and they don't see their communities to be empty. They see that, yes, there are resources in their community, just that they have to think outside the box. And so
Okay.
that was the genesis of my inclusive community development practice.
Okay, fine. Okay, I'm going to come back and ask you some questions then. That's good. Actually, you have given us you have loaded us with good information about your background, and that is very interesting because we are all product of our roots, where we are coming from, the impact of our parents. Like you said, you have been involved in advocacy for a longer period of time, and you can trace it back to 80 years and even 100 because of your mother, your dad, and the rest. And that is true with African culture. We are who we are because of our roots, and so I have a good understanding of what you're saying. Now, I want to ask this question, and Dr. Vida, you have over 80 years of impactful experience across development, gender advocacy, and entrepreneurship. Now, can you share your journey in few minutes to inspire people listening to you and how you were able to dedicate your life to inclusive community development? Can you summarize that in maybe in 2, 3 minutes?
All right. So my inspiration came from some of the things that God took me through. Um, I have been through life has turned that particular experience into what I am doing today, especially what I'm doing, the projects that I'm doing with the women. These are the experiences that I've been through myself. And so, practically, when I could feel the pain, what they are going through personally, so it has given me motivation to be able to do what I am doing today. So I started for when I was
Okay.
at age 12. And so I was given out to someone to be a servant to her. So, and this was not an easy job. And this was not an easy job. down by my biological parents. Your uncles, especially the senior ones, sometimes could have a say so far as your life is concerned. So my father was at a silent point, but the senior brother took everything upon himself to say, no, this girl must not go to school because you have boys. Why don't you educate the boys instead of the girl? Because the girl, when she grows up, somebody will come for her. So there was no seriousness attached to my life. There was no reason attached to my education because simply I'll be given out soon for somebody to be taken care of. And so going through all that and coming back to see where I am, I still see a number of young ladies who go through what I've been through before. I have seen young women who have been through some of the things that I went through and I felt it that nearly affected my life. And so that
Wow.
has given me my motivation to do what I am doing today. And I feel that it wasn't bad for me to go through that. Initially, I didn't understand. But today, God is using that experience to be able to help me, especially with my gender work. Now, coming to the community development work itself, I'm coming from a serious underserved community where everything was like lack in the community when it comes to health, when it comes to education, a lot of things were not in the community. So you see the young people who would have stayed to be able to help build the community were always running to the cities because life at the village was just terrible. No light, nothing. So the younger generation didn't see the need of staying at the village. And so as a result of that, I have to put myself into their shoes to know that now the system has changed. And so the community must be put into a good shape that will attract the neighbors to come and stay, that will attract the indigenous people to come and stay, that will attract its members to come and stay and build it. So there came the reason for bringing light to the community using my position as an assemblywoman and health facility and that of education. So now when you go to the community, you could see the difference in the community. Jobs are being created for women, jobs are being created for the young people. So this has even reduced the the movement of young people from the villages to the city of Ghana. So these are some of the experiences that helped me to do what I am doing. So building myself from my
Yeah.
community, I've now expanded it to other places across Ghana.
Doctor, your story is amazing, and I'm going to give you why. With what you have gone from the age of 12 years, where you were sent to serve someone, and now you have moved from your development studies to a doctorate in business administration, social enterprise. This and really it's amazing. I want to really say congratulations. You'll be able to bring out a masterpiece out of the pieces situation you have gone through in life. You have made um, beauty out of ashes, and I want to say that is amazing. And I hope the young ladies across the world that will watch this video will be encouraged how you have been able to. I want to ask the personal question here. What came upon you that you were able to transform from that person to Dr. Vida we know today?
Um, I think sometimes when a purpose meets a calling, it makes the work easier. Um, I have always tried to motivate myself. That is one thing. I never tried not rely on people to motivate me to do what I am supposed to do. And sometimes my passion is also driven by the gaps that I will want to fill. For instance, being a development worker, sometimes you could see a lot of gaps, especially when it comes to women empowerment. Many women are abused just because the husbands see them as liability in the family. They don't provide, they only consume. So they don't see the other side of women. Once they don't put food on the table, they don't see the other activities of women that bring development to the family. And sometimes I understand them because economic pressure can let sometimes people behave that way, though it may not be a good justification for some of the behaviors. So I've realized that having the community development work experience for some years, what is the main gap there that I need to, fill? Women are supposed to be engaged, but because I am leading them, they are relying on me, they trust in me, they expect me to bring other things in addition to what already they have. So I have seen the need of learning something concerning entrepreneurship so that when I go to a community, development is not just about infrastructure. When you provide infrastructure without a livelihood, it will not still make an impact. People will appreciate you building their livelihood first. So, doing that, I need to take it up to fill that gap so that my development work can be completed. So, I decided to add the entrepreneurship aspect of it to my life so that building their livelihood aspect will be something that it always considered anytime I am undertaking a project that will build the women. You can't build their capacity in any other area when their livelihood aspect is not tackled. So there is a need for me to have the knowledge myself. I need to build myself. You can't be a leader when you don't have certain things. So that drove me to go into the entrepreneurship aspect of it, to be able to learn. So that has become my motivation because in the northern part of Ghana, we have a project there called Village Service and Loans. We started it for years and the groups are still there. We have been able to have over 520 women together. And so being able to save means that they have to be doing something that will bring the income, that will increase their income in order to be able to save, to build their businesses. So I need the knowledge myself. So actually, it is that drive that moved me to go to do the DBA course to be able to help my empowerment works.
That's interesting because really, and I want to encourage every lady leading and listening to you is that you've got to build capacity to increase value. You've got to be a person of value, and you said something about why infrastructure, the physical infrastructure is good. You've got to develop the people capacity to earn a living. So the infrastructure in the community and the ability for people to earn living must go together so
Yeah.
that the people quality of life will be worth it. So thank you for doing that. And I want to ask you this next question. As a gender advocate, what are the most pressing challenges facing women in Ghana and Africa today? And how can social
Um,
enterprise solve it?
all right. So gender-based violence. I think it is a global issue. You can't count one, two, three, day three, without hearing that a woman is being abused. It is critical. Then, point two, We also look at their economic aspect. Women economically are at the disadvantaged part, especially in Africa, where some families or communities, women have no inheritance. And so sometimes it becomes difficult for women to be able to gain roots economically. Then the third one has to do with reproductive health. Reproductive health is another issue that women are seriously battling with, especially when it comes to issues of infertility. A lot of women, from my experience, have a lot of mental challenges because they are not able to produce. And you know, African culture, if children are not coming, you marry one, two, three, the third month, the fourth month, your in-laws are expecting you to. They're spitting saliva everywhere. And so if it doesn't happen, they forget that this is not only the women business. Infertility issues, men can equally have them, the women can have them. But per African culture, it is always you, the woman, that have issues. And so a lot of pressure are on young couples because they are not able to bring forth children in their marriages. So family is fighting you. Sometimes, even if your husband is trying to stand with you, they still have a way of breaking your relationship with your husband. So these are the major things that women are actually battling with. And if you take the gender-based violence plus the economical disadvantaged position that women find themselves, and then even the reproductive health, all has to do with um, women not being able to have access to finances. That is where the
Okay.
problem is coming from. Because my experience of working with women for a number of years, those women that are always being abused are those who cannot contribute economically to the family living. And so sometimes men, they tend not to respect them. They will never involve them in any decision making because they feel like, after all, they have nothing to contribute. I hope we will all justify this, that if you are poor, if it is not the whole world, but where I am, if you are poor, no matter good ideas you have, you may not even get a platform to contribute because of the poverty. So the same thing applies to women. Most of the abuses come as a result of their inability to be able to contribute financially to support the family living. So the men see them like their liabilities. Sometimes they
Okay.
treat them just like the children. So all these three that I have mentioned, majority of the issues are from the low economic aspect of the women.
Okay. Okay. I want to find some because I've had experiences. I also happen to consult and provide counseling to abused women. I have a certification in relationship and marriage counseling. And so one thing I've learned in my little experience counseling singles and couples is that sometimes the finances may be the issue, but the next question I want to ask you is connected to this. We have cultural bias. We thank God for the strong African culture and the rest that have that respect for family and that. But there are some stereotypes in Africa that even keep potentially capable women to earn money from even getting that money, like what you went through, access to training, access to education. Then we talk about cultural bias, religious bias, mindsets that are still keeping African from unleashing the potential of our women. So many intelligent women from in Africa. And you go to the villages, you see the wisdom, the ancient wisdom of our mothers. But it's just isolated to the kitchen. and the best they could do is to pass it on to their children from time to time. But they are not able to contribute to the larger society. That wisdom is bottled, and because of that, the society is starved of such wisdom that comes from our mothers. And so, what do you think? Can government, faith-based organization, community-based organization, what role can they play in helping you people that are into gender advocacy? Because I think you guys are more needed at this point in time. I tell you, I've had the privilege of I've got to know you. I've met so many great Ghanaian women through you. And I can tell you, I'm amazed every time I speak with you people. But I'll tell you, your wisdom needs to come to the mainstream. Platforms like yours need to be amplified so that they can contribute to the what we call the knowledge pool of Ghana and also other African parts, and then to the global community. What role do you think governments, faith-based organizations, community-based organizations, and even the private sector can play to support gender-focused social entrepreneurship?
Number one, um, we, yes, it is clear that these are some of the issues that the women face. Wisdom to come out. I think that, first of all, the government and the NGOs, to start from my own background, in those days, in my community, anytime a meeting was called, like a community deba or a community meeting, no woman was allowed to sit in the front. The front seats were reserved for the men. So the women would come and sit at the back. Any woman who would try to speak out, who is regular or who is frequent to raise her hand to speak, then they begin to tag her as a witch. Because men are there. Why are you speaking? So it was believed that a gathering like that, women are supposed to sit down to observe, to listen, and to get up and go. They are not to contribute, because whatever the men will say was final. So I collaborated with one NGO called Youth Alive Ghana. We took it up as a project to educate the community to understand the impact of bringing women on board, the impact of listening to women, the impact of even allowing the women to lead the community. So, as a result of that education, anytime a meeting was called, then the men will say, okay, now the government and the NGOs are projecting the women, so please come and take the front seat. And there was nowhere a woman raised her hand to speak, and then a man would shut her down. It never happened. Even sometimes, anytime there was a presentation, as soon as we were done, the men would say, okay, we want the women to speak first. Because when you contribute, we see a lot of wisdom in your contributions. So why am I bringing this? I think we need more education. We need to put in more efforts to be able to educate our male counterparts to understand that development is partnership. Men cannot develop alone. Women cannot also do it alone. We are development partners. And for us to do that, we need to do collaborations. We need to form collaborations in order to be able to achieve that. Now, when we come to the cultural issues too, again, based on my own experience, it has to also do with the woman standing in the community. If you are well educated, there are certain cultural things that they don't even apply on you. They
So
don't
it's a
apply
bias.
them. Yeah, they are biased. They don't apply those things on you. They won't even say it. They will not say it, because they know that looking at your standing in the community, you serve a bigger purpose. So they see you as such. But my mother, who maybe hasn't been to school, may not have a say because they think she has nothing to contribute. But one thing that community always forget is that wisdom has nothing to do with classroom education. Wisdom has nothing to do. We have seen people who have been to school, they are well educated, but people who have never been to classroom can teach them how to do certain things. So if we don't overlook them and we give them the opportunity through education for people to give the women the opportunity to speak, we will still be at where we are. Then too, we need to also empower the women economically and then their capacity to be able to speak. Sometimes, even if a meeting is being called, women alone, there are some women that are even shy to speak. Sometimes you may even get opportunity looking for a woman to give it out to. It's difficult to get. Everybody is running away. So it means that the government, together with other non-governmental organizations, our bigger assignment here is to educate the community and also to build the capacity of the women, both economically and then how they can contribute to support the development of their communities.
Wow, this is lovely. Thank you for sharing that. And that's, oh, you're a blessing to Ghana. And I hope very soon, thank this is a global platform. The world, I'm sure they are development partner that may want to work with someone like you to promote this kind of initiative in Ghana and in other part of Africa. Now, there's also you. I know you're an octopus in nature. When I use the word octopus, you are into so many things. You're into advocacy. You know, octopus have so many ends, and it's into so many things and getting all of them done very well. And that is why I want to ask you this question. You are the general manager of Quantum Medical Center in Ghana, and then you the executive director of Feed the Gap Africa, which you're having a program next week. And these are two serious role you're playing in Ghana as the general manager of Quantum Medical Center and the executive director of Feed the Gap Africa. How do you balance social impact, healthcare with operational sustainability? How do you manage both?
I think the healthcare is part of the social impact.
Okay,
The three are interconnected.
okay,
You can't take health outside the social impact. That is even the major thing. Somebody can only make money if the person is healthy. Somebody can do his or her businesses when that person is healthy. So I feel health cannot be taken out of development equation. There are a number of communities in Ghana here that do not have easy access to health care services, especially when it comes to eye. And that's one of the areas that we are handling here. When it comes to eye, you go to a whole district, you may have only one health facility. And within the health facility, you may not have even eye specialists who will be tackling eye issues. So as a result of that, people are having a lot of issues with their eyes that could have been avoidable. But because one, lack of education, people are battling with glaucoma, they are battling with pterygium, they are battling with cataract, and they don't even know what is wrong with them. So some conclude that it is um, age factor condition. Some conclude that it is an inheritance from their families. So lack of education is pushing a lot of people to even go blind, which could have been avoided. So to do this, we are going around the underserved communities. Number one, to give them health care with regards to their eyes, and then to also give them health education, which is very, very important, because sometimes they see the symptoms, they don't know what is wrong with them, and then how to also care for their eyes. You know, when you are sick and you have money, the money must go into your health. So building the people economically, you need to also tackle their health issues, because the two actually go together. It is sound mind that can produce results. So
Wow.
that is why we are linking the three together: the community development issues, plus the entrepreneurship, and then the health aspects of it. And that help us to be able to drive a greater impact.
Awesome. Awesome. Someone from Indonesia sent a message to you, and let me read the message. And I'm going to read, and then we're going to come back to that. You said, let me get that across to you. You said, may you said, how does one build the opportunity to build partnership with government to solve gender-based violence? And does any lesson learned that you can tell us if the efforts to involve government and private sector to solve gender-based violence and assisting women in economic empowerment? This is from Indonesia.
Right. This is a powerful question. Usually, I like to use myself practically. I have solved a lot of gender-based violence issues. So it got to a time I had to call for help from the government. So bringing the government on board made a lot of difference. So in Ghana here, we have a department called social welfare. I don't know if they have the same department in Indonesia, and that may be the name. But Ghana here, we call it social welfare. So it got to a time that I felt it was becoming too much for me. So what do I have to do? Anytime you take people straight to police station, by the end of the day, you end up by solving the problem yourself. Because one thing I've realized about women, when we are annoyed, instantly, we can say, oh, call police to come and arrest my husband. But as soon as the police come to pick up the man, the same woman will come and cry on you to intervene. So I tried that option, but I realized it wasn't the solution. Taking the man to police station alone, it wasn't enough. We need more hands than that. So I had to go into partnership with social welfare and then DOSU. So certain issues that are not supposed to go to police stations, I take them to the social welfare, because some need counseling. For instance, if a man is not responsible in the family, the best place for you to take him to in Ghana here is social welfare. And sometimes these are the basic issues that can bring the issues at the family levels. So I sign department. So most of the issues we collaborated together to be able to resolve them from that level. Now, if it has to do with abuse rate of the violence, some other cases were taken to DOSU. Like I said earlier on, sometimes when you take them there, their problems will be resolved. By the end of the day, you will become the third person in the whole
You become the enemy.
process. Man and a woman know is that addressing a wife and a husband issues, you need to take good care of the whole process. You need to be mindful of any decision that will be
Yeah.
made. And it's still the two of them that will stay together. And so those who came in, and that is government department, and we work together nicely to be able to address a lot of issues. And as I am talking, because of that project, our collaborations, the issues of gender-based violence in the community has drastically reduced. Now, it didn't just end there. We also involve our opinion leaders in the communities, the chiefs, women leaders, and other concerned leadership in the community. They were also involved. Education was also part. These people were also invited a number of times to handle different sessions about violence against women. And so some instructions were given by the government department that if you abuse a woman, these are the consequences. Sometimes some of them don't even know. They don't know that even to open your mouth to insult a woman, it is an abuse. They don't know. So education also went in, and were able to resolve a lot of issues amicably. So I think this is what I did in my community, and it worked well for me.
Okay, thank you so much. And that's a lovely one. Partnership within the private, public, and even governmental agency. And that is the way to go, actually, because everyone needs to be involved. The government make policies that govern people. So you need some policies to be in place. And that
Yeah.
is important. So, because there are very little you can do without some government policies. You're talking about, so these are good. And the person says, thank you, doctor, from Indonesia. So I want to say, is I think the person is very appreciative of your answer. Now, I want to ask these important questions. Are there specific areas such as youth development, healthcare, women leadership that you are currently focusing on as the director of Feed the Gap Africa? What are you doing presently with the Feed the Gap Africa organization?
Okay, so in Fill the Gap Africa, what we do is that we promote inclusive community development, of which I've explained here a number of times. And we also empower the women and the youth economical through entrepreneurship, education, and of which thank you so much that you have been involved in this process. And Ghana is always missing you. Thank you so
Well,
much.
will soon be in Ghana.
So, because the unemployment issues in Africa, if not globally, it is taking a better part of the country and the youth. You could see a number of young people who have gone through universities and they are all relying on government for employment. So we try to let them think outside the box. We try to let them not rely on the government, but they can use the skills that they've gone to learn, or they can even learn different skills altogether that they can depend on to be able to provide livelihood for themselves, especially the ladies. Sometimes our needs we have a lot of needs to meet. And so if the means is not there, you will be forced to do things that you wouldn't want to do, because you want to also position yourself well in the society to be respected. So our focus is so much on the youth, especially the young ladies, giving them entrepreneurship education to build them to be able to provide for themselves. And then the health aspect, like I spoke about, we also have online program. We call it Fill the Gap Africa Women's Clinic. We try to tackle the reproductive health issues among women, and then together with mental health, which is very common. And we always feel because you are not mad on the road for everybody to identify you as such, all is well with you. No. So that is done online. but we usually have a physical sessions. We do it online
Okay.
so that people even outside Ghana can have access to the link to join. So
This is
basically,
lovely.
this is what we do. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I love this health clinic you're doing for women, because I'll tell you the truth. When a woman is abused and she bottles her emotion, the society becomes sick. Because I'll tell you the truth, when you have unhealthy women, you have an unhealthy society. The society becomes sick, and so many women are hurting out there. And we hope more people will be able to engage globally in this project you are doing. And I want to really recommend it for people that are out there, because I've seen highly potential people, women with great potential, and not being able, giving to drugs, and some becoming sexual prey to other people, and women that should be raising their head as queen and princesses and doing great exploits. And so I want to really subscribe to all our listeners to get involved. Is there a possibility of you sharing the link? How do people get involved with that?
Okay, so whoever that would like to get involved can. Currently, we are working on our website, so it is done. We are doing some updates on it, but the person can either contact you directly to be able to link him or her to us, or you
Okay,
go on Facebook, you just Google Fill the Gap Africa. Our Facebook will pop up and you'll be able to get in touch with us, because
okay,
some of our programs we put them on our Facebook page. Fill the
okay.
Gap Africa. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Really, we're looking forward to your website finally coming out and Feed the Gap Africa, because you are doing so much in Africa. I've been privileged to know some of the great things you do for Africa, and especially the women folks.
Okay.
And I will can't thank you enough for that, because our African princesses and queen needs to be cared for. That they have lots to offer the world. We've seen great African women doing a lot. We look at the Deputy Secretary of the United Nations is an African lady. We see what's happening in recent time. We talk about the Director General of the Trade Organization. She's an African lady. And we talk about there's recently one that was appointed. I'm trying to get the name. That's also an African lady. And African women are doing great exploits all over the world. And so if we can get to equip more of them, we're sure that we're talking about the development of Africa. I can boldly say that that will not happen without our women being equipped. You cannot talk about a greater Africa without our women being equipped. And so
Yeah.
thank you for leading that, and we're truly grateful to that. And so one of the things we want to share is I know you to be a person of faith, and you are not ashamed to declare you are, and it has helped you. I can tell that.
Oh.
Okay, so you embodied faith, resilience, and service. How does your faith shape your decision and inspire your leadership in challenging times?
First of all, I see what I'm doing as a calling. And so when you are called, you are not on your own. You are called, you have been given an assignment. And so you need to depend on the one who called you to be able to do your assignment, because that's the one who sent you. So I try to ensure that whatever that I do, I don't just get up and do it, but I have to ask the one who sent me whether it is appropriate for me to do, because I am not on my own. And also, what believers we need to know is that we are the light for our generation. Christ-like must appear in us. We need to promote the kingdom. And so whatever behavior that you put up in the process of executing your responsibilities, you must know that somebody is assessing you against your belief. Sometimes people can easily make references like, oh, me, I think she's a believer.
Yeah.
Oh, I think she's a Christian. I think she's a pastor. I think she's that. And so, whatever that we do in our leadership, we shouldn't forget that we are being called and we are being sent. We are on assignment. Sometimes you meet some challenges you would have wished you were on your own, that you say, no, as for this one, I can't do it anymore. But because you are not on your own, you have to rely on the one who sent you, that is on the word, the prayer, for his guidance to be able to go through. Yes, obstacles will come, but when your purpose is realized in the calling, God will give you that strength to be able to go through. So this is what I use to guide myself.
Oh, lovely, lovely. Yeah, there's so much question to ask you, but we're almost getting out of time, and
Wow.
it's almost getting to an hour. Can you imagine? And we just started talking,
Wow.
but we hope we're going to invite you
Interesting.
for part two of this. But before we go,
Interesting.
there are two. I would like to explore these two questions. I know that Feed the Gap Africa is having a program, an online program next week, Thursday, on the 13th. Can you talk to us about that program and why should everyone hook up to that program and how
Right.
they can hook up to the program?
Right. Um, yes, so Fill the Gap Africa, I said earlier on that we host a number of online programs in order to be able to widen the scope of what we are doing. People can join from every part of the world. And in-person conference. And this one is coming as an in-person conference. The purpose of this conference has to do with our personal growth and mindset. You could see a lot of young people. When I say young people, women, youth, everybody is included, have a lot of potentials, but sometimes to gather the vim to step out to do something, people calculate the risks more than the positive side that they can see in themselves. People can never be empowered when they don't know themselves. They don't even understand their calling. That's one. People cannot be empowered motivated to think. So this conference is to prepare our minds to be able to walk in a journey that is well prepared ahead of us, know when and we know how we are ending it. So we try to build our mindset towards the development of the entrepreneurship that we have been singing about every time. We need to prepare our mindset to be able to go through that journey, because entrepreneurship is not, an easy. It is not an easy journey. Help you to think right. So basically, this is the reason why this conference is being organized. And thank God that you are one of the speakers, and we are so excited. Ghana is excited, and we can't wait to have you. So it is coming on the 13th November. That is just next week, Thursday. And this same link will be shared. So that those who are outside and they want to join to listen to us, at least they can have access to do so.
Okay, okay. For those in Ghana, can you share the venue so that those that may be watching from, because we're going to share this link across the globe. We're going to share this interview video across the globe. So those in Ghana, how can they come to that program?
Okay, so those in Ghana will come to Grand Star Hotel, Hacho. Our numbers are on the flyers. However, if anybody listen to this video and you want to get in touch to make inquiries about the program, you can reach out
You
to
can
us
give your number. You can give your number, maybe a number they can reach out to you.
All right. So you can reach out to us on 0244 836281. I'm taking it again, 0244 836281. We'll be able to have a conversation with you. We are waiting for your call.
Oh, thank you for sharing that. That is awesome. Now, before we ask this, this question is important. Uh, what is your encouragement for women that have been bastardized, abused, probably about to give up? Also, youth that feel there's no hope for them in Africa. What is your word of encouragement as someone that have gone through the same journey? You have overcome, and now you are becoming a tool to lift others across Ghana and in Africa. What is your word of encouragement as a big auntie and even a mother figure to many youths, both women, as a friend, an auntie, a mother? What is your word of encouragement? Now speak to people across the globe right now as Dr. Vida.
Right. So, whoever that is listening to me or that will be listening to us, whatever challenge that you are going through, it is just for a while. What you need to have is to condition your mind. Tell yourself that it shall be well with you. At the traffic light, all the cars don't move at the same time. If not, there will be a crash. There is time for everybody. When the red light is on, no matter how in hurry you are, you must wait. The same thing applies to life. When you wait, the green people that are going, your time will also come. While the green is moving, the red is on, then the yellow is telling those moving to get ready to stop. So it means that there is no darkness forever. When it is dark, the daylight will come. So we need to understand that life is in process. And so if you fail today, or if you are not making it today, it doesn't mean that you will not make it tomorrow. And when you even fail today, it doesn't mean that your failure is the end of your life. Sometimes failing is part of the process because that will give you enough experience to be able to rise and to be able to succeed. If you have no fail in life, and you still have to think twice. If you don't fail, you don't have experience. So the failure is part of the progress in life. You need to focus. What you need to know is that you don't try to look like somebody. Be on your own. Focus. Whatever that you can do, do it. Don't copy somebody's results. Sometimes how the person started is not seen. You are only seeing the results. You don't know the strategies that the person used. And so seeing somebody's results shouldn't give you pressure in life. You don't know how the person started. You don't know how the person has arrived to wherever he or she is. So be focused, appreciate yourself, put yourself into the hands of God and ask Him. God will definitely direct you what you are supposed to do to achieve your purpose. All of us have been brought to this world with a purpose, but until you ask God, it will be difficult to be able to identify your purpose. So focus, exercise patience, pray, and one day God will definitely take you to your destination. Thank you so much.
Uh, Dr. Vida, I want to say thank you all the way from Ghana. And we here in London, we appreciate you. And I believe everyone across the world from Indonesia, Nigeria, and people and the students of DRN want to say thank you. We truly appreciate you. I want to thank everyone for joining us at the Pi Show brought to you by the DR School of Entrepreneurship London, equipping global entrepreneurs through executive and professional pathways in partnership with the Fellowship of God's Ambassadors London, empowering faith-driven leaders for kingdom impact. Don't forget to follow us on our LinkedIn YouTube page, Fegocam TV and the DRN TV. Share this episode and keep walking your path from vision to enterprise. Until next time, stay inspired, stay innovative, and remember, you are born to make impact. Once again, Dr. Vida, we thank you. We truly want to
Thank
say we are
you.
grateful. Looking forward to see you guys in Ghana very soon. And I'll be with you guys on Thursday next week by the grace of God. Till we meet again for another episode, because we'll need to bring you back for a second edition. I want to say thank you for your time. We love you, but we know that you are so blessed. Keep doing what you're doing for Ghana, for Africa. The heaven, there's a reward waiting for you on that day. Stay blessed. Bye for now. Take
Thank
care of
you.
yourself.
Thank
Thank you for
you.
your
I'm
time.
grateful.
Appreciate it.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.